Well, good morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. It's got a pretty miserable fall day here today. Had about 25 to 30 millimeters of rain since yesterday afternoon, so it's pretty wet out here. As you know, on wet days, we catch up on things that we can't do in the forest. I've noticed over the last while we've had a large number of new subscribers to the channel that are brand new tractor owners. Primarily people that have bought B Series Kubota tractors, some L's, but primarily B's. So I thought it might be helpful for some of these new tractor owners like myself to go over some of the tips I've learned over the last 2 years from subscribers and my neighbor, and I've just learned on my own, as well as some of the mods that I'm really glad that I did to this tractor. So if you have a few minutes, stick around. Maybe there'll be a few things that you might be interested in. Cheers. If you're a little handy and you're able to weld, or you have a neighbor or a good friend that can weld, I'd strongly suggest you grab some of this metal mesh and weld it onto the front of your grill guard. This thing, as you can see from the bends and the dents in it, has saved the front end of my tractor several times, especially if you like to work in the forest with a grapple. The mesh probably cost me about $18 Canadian. Well worth it. It was pretty simple to put on, and as you can see, I'm really glad I did. You're probably similar to me. Any tractor dealership is at least 2 hours away from my cabin or your property. And so what I did from the day I got this tractor is I pre-bought enough oil, hydraulic and engine oil, as well as the 3 filters required, both hydraulics and the oil, and my gas filter. And I keep them here at the cabin. The reason I bought them early, of course, is because I'm eventually going to use them for an oil change. But the importance of keeping them here at the cabin is that if I end up in the forest one day and I accidentally go over a rock or a stump and I rupture one of these filters, I'm going to end up with a tractor stuck out in the forest for however many days it takes me to get to a business day to drive back into the nearest dealership, pick up a filter, drive all the way back out and change it out. A lot easier just having them on hand because you're going to have to use them anyways. This way, if something happens in the forest, I've got all the stuff I need here, got enough oils, got my filters, and change it up right away and continue doing my work. When you're out working all day, especially this time of year, you're often going to end up working as the night falls and it gets dark out there. Important to see what you're doing. Grab some lights from Princess Auto, installed them myself, a couple of switches, great lights, 1200 lumens each. Each of these lights cost me about $19 each, plus I probably spent about $30, $40 on all of the other parts, wires. And as you're probably aware, and if you're not, you can take a look in your owner's manual, the work lights fuse is already pre-wired right into your fuse box, and the leads are tied up underneath each of these fenders. Take you a few hours to do it, but well worth it, I promise. If you're living in an area where you get winter like I do up here, really important that you get some conditioner for your diesel fuel for the winter. This stuff is great. I've been using it since day one. I know you may have what they call winter gas at your gas station, but this conditioner helps to stop it from gelling, and it works really well. You only put a tiny bit into every tank full, about 10 milliliters, but it seems to work just fine. I've never had a problem starting, and when I look down in the tank, I've never seen any gelling. It's good stuff. I got it at my Kubota dealer. The drawbar on your tractor is rated on the B2601, and I think most B Series is rated to pull about 2,000 pounds horizontally. Really handy to grab yourself some of these shackles and a few hooks from Princess Auto or somewhere. Pretty cheap. I think I paid somewhere between $5 and $12 a piece for these. I carry a couple of them because it makes it a whole lot easier to wrap a chain when you're trying to drag things out of the forest or if you're trying to work around the property. I think each one of them are rated 5 or 10,000 pound capacity. And they fit in the hole nice and easy. Makes it a lot easier to drag or to pull things with the tractor. One of the simplest and most practical mods I did to this tractor was the addition of this little spinner knob on the steering wheel. If you're like me and you're getting a little bit older and it's a little tougher to twist around in the seat, when you're working backwards on a 3-point implement and you're constantly twisted around looking backwards, it's very difficult to manage the steering with 2 hands while you're looking backwards. But having the spinner knob on here allows you to grip the wheel in one spot and manage your steering much more effectively and easily while you're working with an implement behind you. This cost me, I think, about $11 at a Canadian Tire, and well worth every dollar. One of my favorite mods to date, of course, has been this step on the side of my operator's platform. The B2301 and the B2601 don't come with a step. But you can order one, the one that comes with the B2650, simple to put on, and I think it cost me around $40 Canadian. I know a few folks had mentioned two things to me. One, in some areas of North America, the dealers charge more than that. And secondly, and most importantly, if you're using your tractor with a belly mower, you can't put the step on. But if you're not using a belly mower, promise you, well worth every dollar. Makes it a whole lot easier getting in and out of the operator station. So you've got a B Series tractor. Notice your ROPS rattles a lot. You'll see on some channels people suggest that you put, wood shims down in between here. Some people have suggested that you take some of those felt pads that you use on the bottom of furniture legs and drop the ROPS and stick them in. I've done both several times. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of weight flipping back and forth, and usually those shims end up getting snapped off, or they just don't work after a period of time, and they never keep it really tight. However, I was at my Kubota dealership about 2 weeks ago. I happened to notice that all the BX series models have a bolt that goes in this hole with a knob on it to tighten against the ROP to stop it from shaking back and forth. Asked my dealer why the B Series didn't come with one, because they actually don't. We took a look at the exploded parts diagram. There is no bolt to tighten against this ROP. So I had them pull up the exploded parts diagram for a BX2680, and just out of interest, I said, can you order me one of these knobs? It's actually called a rail clamp. Comes with BX models, cost me about $19 Canadian. Got it home last night and I couldn't wait. Sure enough, it's the right thread pattern for the nut that you see welded against this bracket on your ROPS, and it works. $19. So depending on where you live, the type of climate you have, whether your property, has big hills and you've got winter and ice in the wintertime, or you've got a lot of mud, or for whatever reason you decide that you need tire chains, you're definitely going to have to order wheel spacers in order to fit those chains and have them safely pass underneath your fender on your B Series tractor. The distance between the narrowest point of the fender and the sidewall of this tire is about 1 5/8 inches, and it's just not enough room to allow the fasteners and the clasps or the shackles to pass safely through and beyond the fender. Your wheel spacers, or at least these ones from Kubota, will give you another 1 3/8 inches space as well, which should give you more than enough room to allow the chains to pass under the fender safely without ripping at any of your electrical wires or your hydraulic hoses, which run under the bottom of the fender. So one of the most practical and useful things that I've built or added to this tractor since I got it was when my neighbor and I built this Carryall for the 3-point hitch. This thing is really practical, simple, comes in handy for so many different things around the property or in the forest. As you know, tractors don't have trunk space. There's nowhere to carry anything. So having this unit put together allows me to move things around the property, helps me with firewood when I'm out in the forest, allows me to carry my tools around the property or out in the forest or anywhere that I need to take them. Gives me a little trunk space. It was a pretty simple build. I was fortunate because my neighbor knows how to weld, and he helped me by welding and helping me build this unit. And I'm very thankful for that. If you're not one that knows how to weld like myself and you don't have access to somebody to help you, I know that you can buy a frame or a steel frame that you can build upon. Here in Canada, I know Farmer Equipment Sales sells them. And I know in the US, there's a company, I believe it's called King Cutter is the manufacturer. And I think you can get them from a number of different stores down in the US. And they actually have a similar steel frame that you can purchase, and then you can build your box around it. A lot of tractor trends occur in the industry, just like any industry. The advent of the SSQA or the Quick Connect front end, where you can just pop off the bucket and pop on a grapple, that's compatible. Similarly, on the back end, more and more attachments or implements for your 3-point hitch are becoming what they call quick hitch compatible. If you have equipment or you're looking to buy more implements or attachments, always try to make sure that you confirm, or it says on the side of the implement, that it's quick hitch compatible, because sooner or later, you're going to want a quick hitch. And I'll tell you, this makes things and life so much simpler if you're able to put one of these on the back of your 3-point hitch and just back up and pick up implements and drop them as you need to. It's a really handy and practical piece of equipment if you plan on purchasing or owning multiple different attachments or implements that will be going on your 3-point hitch. So the last thing I wanted to bring up, tractor insurance. Especially if you're a new B Series owner or a new compact tractor owner, very important that you contact your insurance company, find out what type of coverage you currently have on the tractor, and determine whether it's the right coverage for you on or off property. And if not, take a look around. Hopefully you'll be able to find an insurance company, depending on where you live, that will be able to provide you the right coverage for that tractor at a reasonable price, just to make sure that you manage your risks and liabilities. So I hope you found some of those ideas or those mods helpful, and maybe something that might be beneficial for yourself. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting new videos, just click that little bell. Enjoy your new tractor. Have a lot of fun and be safe. Cheers.